My business partner of 6 years vanished on a Tuesday. Left his coffee on his desk. Car in the parking lot. Phone went straight to voicemail. $47,000 gone from our joint account the night before. Okay, so, background. Me and Derek, not his real name, whatever, we built a small logistics company together in Columbus, Ohio. Nothing glamorous. We moved medical equipment for hospitals. 7 employees. Decent contracts. Boring as hell, but it paid well. 6 years. I was best man at his wedding. I know his kids' names. His youngest calls me Uncle Ray. The bank said the transfer was authorized. His signature, his login, 11 p.m. on a Monday. I'm sitting there thinking, I had dinner with this man on Sunday. He seemed fine. He complained about his HOA, normal guy stuff. Police took a report. Technically not a crime if your name's on the account, they said. I'm standing there like, are you serious right now? 3 months of nothing. I'm covering payroll alone, lying to employees, telling them Derek had a family emergency. Then I get a Facebook message. Random woman says she knows where he is. Sends me a photo. He was in Scottsdale, Arizona. Tan. Literally tan. Sitting by a pool in a photo posted publicly on his new girlfriend's Instagram. The same week, I had to let 2 employees go because we couldn't make payroll. I won't lie, I drove to Arizona. My wife thought I was insane. Maybe I was. I didn't confront him. I just sat in a rental car outside that house for about an hour, thinking about the 7 years I spent building something with a person I clearly never knew. Civil suit is ongoing. Lawyers say maybe 2 years. Maybe I see the money, maybe I don't. His kids still don't know where their dad is. That's the part I can't shake. Last week, his wife called me. Not to apologize. She wanted to know if I had a forwarding address for his mail. I didn't, but I did have his new girlfriend's Instagram. I sent her the link. That's all I did. That's all.
I found a phone behind the dryer while fixing a leak. Cheap prepaid thing. 14 months of messages. I sat on the laundry room floor for about 40 minutes before I could stand up again. Okay, me and Lisa, together 11 years, married 8, 2 kids, 7 and 4. We live in a normal house in a normal suburb outside Nashville. I coach my son's soccer team on Saturdays. This is not a dramatic household, or I thought it wasn't. The phone had no lock on it. I don't know if that made it better or worse. The messages weren't from some stranger. They were from her coworker. Guy I'd met at 3 company Christmas parties. Shook his hand, asked about his fantasy football team. He'd been in my house for dinner once. I grilled burgers. 14 months. I scrolled back to the beginning trying to find the exact moment it started. March 14th. I remember that day. I had the flu, she brought me soup, sat on the edge of the bed and asked if I needed anything. She was already 3 weeks in by then. I didn't say anything that night. I put the phone back exactly where I found it. Behind the dryer, same angle, same dust. And then I went upstairs and watched TV with my wife for 2 hours like a completely normal person. I still don't know how I did that. I talked to a lawyer first. Before I said a word to her, my buddy told me to do that, and it was the smartest thing I've ever done. When I finally brought it up, she cried and said it was over and that it meant nothing. I've heard that's what they all say. I don't know what's true anymore. We're still in the house, separate rooms, kids don't know. My son asked me last week why I sleep on the couch sometimes. I told him my back hurts. The guy texted her last week. I know because she still doesn't know I have her passcode. She didn't respond. I watched her delete it. I don't know what I'm waiting for. I just keep coaching soccer on Saturdays and pretending the ground isn't moving under my feet.
My father knocked on my door last April. I hadn't seen him since I was 9 years old. He looked older. He was smiling. And the first thing he said wasn't sorry. It was, I need to talk to you about your grandfather's property. Okay, so I need to give you some background, or this won't make sense. My dad left when I was 9. No fight, no drama that I saw. One morning, he just wasn't there. My mom told me he went to work early. He didn't come back that night, or the next one. She stopped saying he was coming back after about a week. I'm 34 now. I have a wife, a dog named Biscuit, a mortgage in Raleigh, North Carolina. I built a whole life in the space he left. Therapist says I'm well adjusted. I think she's being generous. I didn't slam the door. I probably should have. Instead, I made him coffee. I don't know why. Muscle memory, maybe. Some leftover thing from being 9 years old and wanting your dad to stay. He sat at my kitchen table for 2 hours. Told me about his life. New family in Phoenix. 2 kids. My half-siblings, I guess. He showed me a photo. The younger one looks exactly like me at that age, and I had to look away. Then he got to it. My grandfather, his father, died 8 months ago. Left a piece of land in rural Virginia. Apparently worth something now because of a highway expansion nearby. Dad needed my signature. Something about an inheritance split. Said it would take 20 minutes. I called a lawyer before I signed anything. Good thing. Turns out my grandfather had left that land equally to me and my dad, specifically because he didn't trust his own son. My signature wasn't needed to split it. It was needed to sign my half away. I sat with that for a long time. My grandfather, A man I met maybe 6 times had tried to protect me from a distance, left me something real. And my own father had driven 14 hours to trick me out of it over a cup of coffee. I didn't yell. I called him and told him what my lawyer found. He said I was misunderstanding the paperwork. I said, okay. Then I hung up. The land is being appraised next month. My wife wants to sell? I'm not sure yet. Part of me wants to build something on it. My grandfather never once told me he cared about me. Didn't hug. Didn't call on birthdays. But he spent the last years of his life making sure his son couldn't take anything else from me. Sometimes people show you love in the only language they know.
I found out I was fired from a 3-sentence email. No call, no meeting. 11 years. And it came at 7:43 a.m. on a Tuesday while I was making my kids' breakfast. I was a regional ops manager for a mid-sized logistics firm in Cincinnati. Started there at 29. Worked my way up. Missed birthdays. Took calls on vacations. Covered for people who left and never got replaced. I wasn't just loyal. I was the guy who trained everyone above me at some point. The email said, position eliminated due to restructuring. That same afternoon, I found out on LinkedIn they posted my job. Same title, same responsibilities, $20,000 less in salary. I called HR, got voicemail, called my direct boss, guy I'd had beers with 2 weeks before. He picked up, said he was sorry, said his hands were tied, said it wasn't personal. I said okay and hung up. Then I sat in my car for an hour. My wife didn't say I told you so. She could have. She'd been telling me for 3 years they didn't value me. I took a job 6 months later. Less travel, better benefits, 22% pay increase. My old company called me 8 months after they fired me. Asked if I'd consult on a project. The same project I'd built from scratch. I quoted them 3 times my old day rate. They said yes immediately. That told me everything I needed to know about what I was worth to them all along.
My brother owes me $18,000. At our mom's birthday dinner last month, he told the whole family I'd been distant and cold lately. Nobody at that table knew about the money except me and him. Okay, me and my brother Derek, 2 years apart, grew up in the same room, same everything. He's always been the charming one. I'm the one who showed up. When he called me 3 years ago saying he was in trouble, bad investment, behind on rent, wife didn't know, I didn't hesitate, transferred the money the same day. We shook hands on a repayment plan, 12 months. That was 36 months ago. He's paid back $400. $400. He bought a boat last summer. I saw it on Instagram. A boat. I'm still waiting on $18,000, and he posted a photo with the caption, "Living the dream." I stopped bringing it up after month 14 because every time I did, he'd get defensive, and somehow I'd end up apologizing. Classic. So I just went quiet. Stopped calling as much. Stopped showing up to every family thing. And apparently, that made me the villain. At mom's dinner, he said, in front of everyone, that I'd changed, that I was selfish, that family didn't seem to matter to me anymore. My aunt nodded. My mom looked worried. I didn't say anything at the dinner. I just smiled. 2 days later, I sent my mom a screenshot of the bank transfer. Just the one. $18,000. His name. 3 years ago. No message. Just the image. She called me within 4 minutes. My brother hasn't spoken to me since. My mom apologized. My aunt is still deciding whose side she's on, which tells me everything about her. I don't need the money back anymore. I wrote it off in my head a long time ago. What I couldn't write off was sitting at a table while he rewrote history and everyone believed him. Some people mistake your silence for weakness. They think because you didn't say anything, you don't know anything. I knew everything. I was just waiting for the right moment.